It's all in the mind. And the reason why shit is not working is because you have the right apps, the right information installed on the wrong operating system. I sold tens of millions of dollars of products online, but I've been through crippling depression, anxiety, couldn't like talk to anybody for years. And once I figured out how to fix my mind, how to replace the operating system with different beliefs and paradigms through spending $100,000 on education, information, mentorships, programs with experts getting hypnotized by best hypnotists in the world, I fixed the root cause of my self-sabotage, anxiety, procrastination, and I'm gonna try to compress everything that I learned for the past 5 years. I'm 22 years old. I've been in the game for the last 5 years. I now work with 8 and 9 figure brands in ecom and help them scale through masterful wizardry marketing. And so here's everything, the most important lessons that will allow you to take a look at yourself, where you are in life, and understand if the results you're getting are matching your expectation. If not, it means you have to fix the operating system. You have to fix the program running in the background because it's all in the mind. So I have a few notes. Now, what's important is that I'm gonna read a few concepts here and then explain it through stories, examples, right? Important things to remember. It does not matter what is true, only what you believe is true, because with work, that will become true. Your thoughts create your beliefs become your reality. The universal theory of everything and the master algorithm of evolution is that beliefs lead to actions that lead to results and that lead to feedback, and that feedback changes the belief, which then changes the actions and then the results, and it's a whole feedback loop, right? So you must intercept your own beliefs, your own algorithm at the belief stage in this feedback loop, because if you can shift the belief and you take massive action with these new beliefs, you will experience better results, listen to feedback, iterate, and then you perfect the process. So what does this all mean? It's not some wishy-washy self-help guru shit. It's like actually how reality is based. So I don't know if you believe in a creator, the law of attraction, the energy flowing in the universe, nature, mother, whatever you believe, right? I invite you to notice how it's very irresponsible and stupid to think that this reality has been set and is so beautifully designed and perfectly aligned to be just happen out of nowhere, like out of coincidence. What is the statistical significance, right? So let's say there is a hidden creator. Some may call it God, some may call it nature, some may call it fate, whatever. But there are rules, right? There are mathematical rules to the universe, and you study them at school, like math. But it's not just math. There is a math beyond math which we don't understand. But what I can tell you in my limited understanding of everything is that the more you operate aligning with reality, with the rule of the world, the more you're gonna have power. And power means the speed between thought and result. So I think something happens in the world, which is God level power. So the highest level of power is I think something and I let it be. Let there be light, and light was, right? So I think about having $1 trillion in my bank, $1 trillion happens the next second, okay? Now, what's in between is having the right beliefs so that you can operate in this reality in such a way that whatever you imagine in a reasonable amount of time based on your skill, experience, and connection happens. So how do you fix your fucked up mind? Basically, it's been 6 minutes. We all have fucked up minds, right? Everybody is traumatized. Everybody had a fucked up childhood for some reason. Parents divorced, or parents were good but they were traumatized, or they were on a bus sometime and somebody touched their asses and they were molested, or when they were 5 years old, the parents left them alone for 2 hours, and now they have this deep trauma in their subconscious mind which they don't even remember, but it's now creating this limiting belief. So like, we're all fucked. Let's assume we're all fucked. And why we're all fucked? Because the brain forms in the first 3 to 6 years of life. The subconscious mind creates the worldview and assimilates all the beliefs and paradigms and create a mental model of how the world works in the first 3 to 6 years. So what you receive in terms of parents' conditioning, friends, environment, experiences, you create a model of the world first 3 to 6 years, and then it's done. Very hard to change it from them. It's possible, but it's just hard. And that's the whole journey of entrepreneurship, like changing your worldview until your level of power is strong enough that you can make shit happens as you think them. Hundreds of people operating beneath you, you make shit happen, you live a cool life, right? So because our brain is fucked, and because of course like the starting position in the video game is very important. If you have rich parents are not a benefit because of money. They are of course they are because of money, but they are because they're gonna install in you, if they are good parents, rich doesn't make good, they're gonna allow you to assimilate unconsciously their worldview, which is closer to the truth of the world. Now, I'm saying that being rich is close to the truth of the world because we understand with this unsaid agreement that the world operates through capital and money is just equal to energy, right? It's a mean of exchanging energy. So the more you have, the better, ideally, in my opinion. You can have your own opinion. So your brain is fucked after 6 years. You have all these beliefs, even from traumas and experiences that you don't even remember now, because your subconscious tends to remove everything, right? That's why when you do therapy or when you go to some sort of coach, they make you go into a relaxed state, and then you go back in your past and you let those memories bubble up, which are trapped in your body, traumas, experiences, and you allow them to be processed, and that's how you get rid of them. That's a whole process. But what I want to explain you is, you cannot, like, either you process all the fucked up thing that you experience. We all have something, like some deep dark hole. And how do you process them? You process them by allowing them to bubble up and just sitting with them, or like work with an hypnotist or some sort of guru doing some sort of experience. You know, I'm against drug, ayahuasca, that kind of things, but it helps, right? Magic mushrooms. Or like through the gym, working out, you fight with your demons, right? You meditate, you sit in the silence of your living room, a sauna, and you let yourself be muted and you don't receive any outside stimuli, and that's when your own inner self comes up and your own inner voice starts to talk and images pops up in your mind, and then you can confront those things, because a feeling, a trauma, an experience, a negative emotion have power only because you resist it. It has power in the body. It is like an emotional charge. Emotion means electrical motion, because if you resist it, there is an equal and opposite force. But if you let it be, the charge dissipates. So this is the first method: meditation, prayer, sauna, training, working out, whatever. And this is like mandatory. Second method is through experiences that replace the old belief and paradigms and expand your worldview and your understanding of the world and the possibility. Experiences like, okay, so you have bad beliefs around money, right? And so you have a limited mindset, like you cannot spend more than whatever on a trip. Okay, force yourself to go to a 5-star hotel for one night. Or you don't have the money, okay, go to the lobby of the 5-star hotel, take a coffee in the bar, right? Or drive a supercar, go to dinner with somebody who is successful and talk about something. Like, let yourself be open to this kind of experiences. Walk in a luxury store. Let yourself be open and let yourself be challenged. Your beliefs, your worldview, because that is the only way. So, experiences rewrite beliefs. And eventually, like, first time you walk in a like fancy hotel or like store, if you come from like poor background, you're gonna feel an enormous amount of stress, anxiety, and you're gonna feel judged. You're gonna feel judged because you yourself judge yourself about feeling inferior compared to them, the rich people who can afford this stuff, right? But as long as it's something that only those people do, you're never gonna do it, right? So how you like close this gap and make your identity believe that you're actually that kind of people who can do this stuff. Really, there is no pressure, there is no resistance. It's so easy to like have these beautiful experiences, spa, hotels, trips, dinners, clothing, you know, all the earthly pleasures, which are good, but you know, they don't satisfy you, they don't give you happiness. They're good because they remove problems, they relax you, but they don't give you happiness. True happiness is within you. So experience is the way to reshape beliefs, right? Now, once you have proper beliefs, then you're gonna take different actions that are gonna lead to different results. Third way I found is through talking to a mentor. So the reason why you have a certain result in whatever business you're at, whether it's e-com, like I do e-com, or whatever else, is because your beliefs are making you take certain decisions on your day-to-day basis when it comes to hiring, when it comes to allocating your team resources, when it comes to like which strategy you're implementing, how many ads, which ads are you doing, which funnels, which media, all these things. Belief leads to decision, which lead to action, and action leads to result. So if you want to change the result, change the first thing at the base of the pyramid, which is belief. So talk with somebody who have the result that you want, therefore they have the belief that lead them to that result. And you get the belief from them. And maybe on a 15 minutes call, they say one thing which totally blew up your mind and changes your worldview, and it's worth hundred thousands, millions of dollars, right? So feel comfortable in paying people for information, because it's the only way to get ahead of the majority of people, right? To learn from somebody who's already there. Now, a second important thing to remember: where you are in life, your current situation, it's all your doing. This is gonna piss people. You built yourself and your life, and it's you who's solely responsible for where you are right now and where you go in the future. There is no external force, person, or thing against you. It's all you. Now, this is hard to swallow because everybody wants to not feel responsible for their own lacks, for their own failures, for their own undoings. Why? Because it's human nature, right? We want to delegate. We want to find a scapegoat for our problems. Now, you have to be careful if you're in marketing and sales to differentiate yourself, that you talk to your customers from the way that you talk to yourself, because human nature is flawed. We can use this bias to sell more. By when you sell to, like, let's say weight loss, whatever, or any niche, basically, in your sales process, in your sales argument, you want to alleviate them of the responsibility of having this problem, or having screwed up in the past and being in the undesired state that they're at right now, right? And so you want to say very powerful lines such as, it's not your fault. It's all because of X. All your problems are due to X root cause. This removes the responsibility and allows them to feel good about themselves, because they're not gonna make the decision to change if part of them feels like it's their fault. And most people, when they feel like it's their fault, they also feel blocked and scared, because they're gonna think, okay, that means whatever you're gonna tell me is not gonna fix me because I'm broken from the start, So you wanna help them remove that belief by saying it's not their fault, which is a good thing if your product or service delivers on the promise. But when it comes to, like, your own life, you wanna be very careful, because basically it's all your fault. Like, literally, where you are. So now, doesn't mean that if you don't have 100 million in the bank, maybe it's just time. You don't have enough time. You haven't lived long enough. But mostly it's two things. Like, so you want to get to an outcome, right? A result, whatever. How you get there? Through information and then execution of the right information. And then there are all the screw ups along the journey, which slow your ascension to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So we all go through the valley of the shadow, the mountain of toilsome heights, but how long we stay there in the valley of the shadow depends on how well is our decision making, how discerning we are, and how fast can we learn from our own failures, which are going to be inevitable, right? So feedback loop. You get a result is undesirable. Okay, which belief causes these results? So you basically got to take your life, everything that you do, like fitness-wise, health-wise, relationship-wise, girlfriends, boyfriends, business-wise, and you got to say, okay, I have these results, I don't like them, I want these results. Okay, which actions am I doing at this very moment? I'm doing these actions. Now, who taught me to do this kind of actions? Because the biggest problem is that people don't question what they're doing. Basically, they operate without questioning anything. But if you really go to the root cause, to the root beliefs, most of your decisions, most of the things that you know about the world are actually false. Your parents told you. You heard it from a friend when you were 6 years old, and you accept it as a truth. You heard it in a television movie series when you were a kid, or in a video game, or your friend in middle school told you something. And on that false belief, you've constructed a whole worldview. And of course it's crumbling down because the base is flawed. So you have to question everything. Because if 99% of the people are living a mediocre life, it's because their decisions were flawed. And the decisions were flawed because their information on which they were basing the decisions were false, right? So fitness, like, you don't have the physique that you want. Okay, who am I listening when it comes to, like, how should I train, how should I eat and diet? Relationship, Okay, you don't have the woman, the man that you want. Okay, who am I listening to? Am I taking advice from fucking Netflix movies and TV shows? Or my friend who has like 10 failed relationship? Or who games women on Friday, Saturday evenings, but doesn't have a long-lasting relationship? Who are you taking advice from? Like, to understand the tree, look at the fruit. Quote of the great Jesus. So the fruit will tell you if the tree is good or bad. And if it's a bad tree, cut it down. Easy to say, hard to swallow, right? What I was saying, I don't even know, like I'm just talking. You have to question everything. You have to get so granular that people are gonna tell you are crazy. Why are you eating 3 times a day? Who told you so? Television commercials. Why are you eating fucking orange juice? It's all propaganda, literally. Like, whatever, like, majority of the thing that you're doing in your life, it's all propaganda invented by people who wanted to basically mind control and absorb as much energy as possible from a group of people for their own interest. Like, there's so many trillions of dollars in the world. Like today, I was talking to a guy, and he was going to dinner with a guy from a bank, which I won't name. They have $1 trillion fund, $1 trillion, 1,000 billion in funds that they need to allocate, they need to give to companies to invest, right? Like, once you operate at this level, I'm beginning to think, okay, there's fucking like banks with $1 trillion to allocate. Why is there war anger? Why are there people earning $1,500 a month, living paycheck to paycheck? Well, it's because it's all psyops. Of course it's a psyops. But you can either complain and blame the rules of the game, or you play by the rules of the game. Like, there is no other way around it. I mean, when you are a teenager, you begin to understand how flawed the world is, right? And so you have all these ideas of, oh, let's change the world, let's create a movement, let's take part of a movement who is claiming they're gonna change the world through their innovative policy. Let's not pollute the world, let's give women's rights. You know, all these leftist propaganda, which like a minority thing of the psyops that's going on. Because you understand, like, when you're a teenager, you start to understand the world is flawed, and so you try to do something about it. But then you quickly realize that you don't matter, basically. You amount to nothing. You're fucking useless in the grand scheme of things, which is both incredibly depressing if you zoom out, how meaningless you are. 1 out of 7 billion, a 70 years life in a timeline of billions of years. Like, in 200 years, nobody's gonna remember you. You're gonna have no friends. Maybe your relatives once a year are gonna look at the photo album and think, oh, this was like the grandpa James, whatever. But it's also a blessing in disguise, because it means it's a fucking video game. You can do whatever the fuck you want because nothing matters. I mean, there is something that matters. I mean, to me at least, it's to spread the word of Jesus. Because if there is truth to the word, and I don't believe it, there is truth. I know there is truth. I'm looking for the truth, and I found the truth to be Jesus, and I don't just believe in its message. I know for a fact its message is true because of different experiences and logic arguments that led me to believe it's the way, the truth, and the life. So if there is truth to the word, if you operate closer to the truth, you're gonna get power, which means your life is gonna be easier, better, more satisfying. You're gonna be creative. You're gonna have amazing experiences, build a family, have freedom, right? I don't know how I arrived at this point. I'm just like talking. Literally put the camera here. It's midnight. I thought let's do a video, and I'm doing the video with no script, no nothing. Other important things to remember. Okay, this is too wishy-washy. I'm gonna skip this. Next thing, we are not the highest version of ourselves which we can imagine. We are the lowest version of ourselves which we can accept. Understand that you will do nothing to achieve your dreams, but fight like hell to not breach your standards. If you want to achieve your dreams and goals, you must turn them into irrefutable standards. This is probably the most powerful. What does it mean? So you basically have an internal thermostat which regulates the condition that you live in. Simple example, how clean is your room is based on your internal thermostat. And if I had to put on a graph like the level of cleanliness in your room, it will be a curve like this, and there will be an average of cleanliness, and then you're gonna have peaks of like super clean and downs of like it's messy as fuck. So you're not the highest version of yourself which you can imagine. You're not the peak. Basically, you're at the downfall. You're at the pit of hell. Like when it gets to the dirtiest that you can accept, then you're gonna do something. So the game is not to raise the dream, but it's to raise the standard that you can accept. Raise the level of dirtiness. Decrease the level of dirtiness and clean your room more often so that it doesn't get dirty as fuck, right? Now apply this to everything else. Let's say fitness. It doesn't matter, like you want to become Arnold Schwarzenegger, you want to become crazy skilled athlete, you want to have a nice body, you want to be healthy, you want to be athletic, you want to run a marathon. You're going to achieve all of that. All that is possible. Of course, there is genetics, but like 99% of the work can be done through like sheer dedication. And if you put your heart into it, anybody can achieve anything. I truly believe it. The reason why most people are never going to do something is because their operating system, their beliefs, will not allow them to do it. But if you work on your belief first, and in the meantime you keep improving them, you can do anything. Literally, I do believe it with my heart that you can do anything at all. It's not like some cheap motivational talk, Tony Robbins like from the fucking stage. Yes, we're all like amazing beings, full of light. We are, but we are also flawed. We're sinful creatures. But if you can accept that we're sinful, if you can accept that the world is broken, and if you can operate within this environment by the rule of the world, then we can transcend the world and find the kingdom of heaven, which is within you and everywhere around you, but also within you. Now, you will not achieve your dreams. You will do nothing to achieve your dreams, but fight like hell to not breach your standards. So if my standard is earning 2K a month, and I write on my vision board, I'm very happy and grateful that I'm gonna earn 30K a month, but my subconscious mind, my identity does not believe that, I'm not gonna work as hard to do that, right? But if my standard was to earn 100K a month, if my identity is of a guy who earns 100K a month, I'm not literally gonna stop. I'm gonna find ways. My subconscious mind is gonna find ways. I'm gonna attract the right people. I'm gonna be in a fucking hotel lobby talking to a random guy who introduced me to another guy who allows me to make that happen. And it's all based on the standard that your identity, your subconscious accept. So how do you rewire the identities? Same things, ties back to the beginning of the video. How you change your identity, your subconscious belief, repetition, experiences. Basically, there are 3 ways to change your subconscious mind. Repetition, like sheer volume of repeating something. You can write by hand on a notebook every day your beliefs, your goal. Like, I'm very happy and grateful to get this outcome by date X. And it's something that I've done for years. You can, so repetition or like sheer volume of something, work, studying, etc. or training, and then that gets to the conscious mind. Repetition, number 1, or listening to stuff. Hypnosis, you can change your belief through hypnosis, very, very powerful. But I won't get to it in this video. Or you can change your beliefs through traumas, which is traumatic experiences, which is how most of our beliefs were formed in the first place. So, simple example, a kid, teenager, is very, disorganized, do drugs, whatever, bad grades at school. His father dies. He has this emotional shock. And then he becomes a very diligent boy who takes care of his family, who has a part-time job, who get good grades at school, right? So changing the identity, because now he needs to be the provider for his family because his father figure died. Same thing with other experiences. It doesn't have to be this traumatic, but trauma changes the subconscious. You can induce changes both in positive and in negative through hypnosis, or you can just induce them through sheer repetition and experiencing, for example, wealth, luxury, to engrave in the identity that I'm a person worth of this, that this is the standard, that this is the lowest that I can accept. If the lowest I can accept is having a private maid, private chef, masseur full-time, chauffeur, 2 bodyguards, I'm not gonna go into 2-star hotel, on vacation. I need to have my whole team come with me. This was not a flex, it was like proper thought. So you have some food for thought. Let me read you the last quote and then we end the video at 33 minutes. Most people's character has become so strong and defined that it's reversed the roles and pulling the strings on its own master. You have to pin your character down and define exactly who it is and what it's capable of, and then figure out what you really want to achieve in life and see if that character is fit for the job. If the character isn't fit for the job, it's time to design one who will achieve it with ease and make the conscious decision to grow into it. Your character is changeable and you pull the strings. What is your character? It's basically your identity, the thing that you believe to be true about yourself, which don't exist basically. Like nothing is true. It's all in your mind. It's all a mental model. You're basically hallucinating reality as we speak. Like as you're watching this video, you're recreating your reality in your mind, but every person have a different experience of reality because they have different filters through which they see the reality. And these filters are your beliefs. So if you change the beliefs, it's like changing the glasses and going from dark shade sunglasses to clear lenses and seeing the beautiful rainbow at sunset and being completely in awe. So to change your character, to change your results and your outcomes, what you do is you change your beliefs. Through better beliefs, you have different actions which lead to the results, which lead to feedback, and then loops back in, and with the results, then you shift the beliefs, which shift the action, which shift the feedback. Watch this video at least 3 times, unless you wanna be shitless slave and you want to be part of the psyops. At least 3 times, which goes back to the idea of repetition, because you probably have not understood 1/3 of what I said. So watch it again.